The disclaimer is that this is not a motivational video. This is a purely content-based video. So you would ask me, what is the difference between this video and thousands of videos that are available on YouTube on how to improve your GT scores? If you had followed me since last 6 months, you would know that I only speak facts. Without facts backed up, I don't give my opinion. So there is no room for opinion here. We'll speak facts straightforward. I have been talking to a lot of people over last 3 years, over phone, over email, over Telegram, and even during live mentorship sessions. And one of the most important questions that always is asked to me is, I study for 10 hours a day, I study for 12 hours a day, I have been studying properly, consistently, I have been giving GTs, but my GT scores don't improve. Okay, so I created a video on this 8 months ago, but that video didn't cover all the aspects of it. So now I'm going to cover on those aspects which I haven't touched, and I'll give you an entire idea regarding what you're missing and why your GT scores don't improve. So hello, I am Dr. RMD, pediatric resident at PGMER Dr. RML Hospital, New Delhi, and today we'll troubleshoot what goes wrong when you give GT. So why doesn't your rank improve? This has two reasons. One is you have problems when you're studying for GT. Okay, when you're studying for GT, you have certain problems, and there are certain problems while you attempt GT. These are the two broad categories. See, to understand why your ranks don't improve, we should understand how GT is framed. Okay, GT is framed which has 200 questions according to NEET PG pattern, and the framework of GT is using computer algorithm. Okay, so these grand tests are conducted by these coaching platforms, which is based on computer algorithm, and this algorithm selects around 80% questions from Q banks, okay, and 20% of new or modified questions. Okay, so this thing will change for mock tests. Okay, for mock tests, usually like INICET mock or NEET mock, what they do is they decrease this ratio. They usually do it 60-40 so as to include more number of new questions. So one important thing that you will notice is these coaching platforms will frame grand test in such a manner to simulate actual NEET exam. So there is no doubt that whatever asked in NEET PG exam should closely correlate with whatever is asked in GT. So what will be the distribution of questions? It will be similar to what is asked in NEET PG exam. So what is the easiest technique to increase your GT scores? So by logic, your easiest technique is study from those subjects from which most number of questions are asked. So I did this 3 years of previous year questions analysis, okay, from NEET PG exams, and I found that I plotted a pie chart, and I found what is the percentage of questions that are asked from each subject. Okay, so out of 19 subjects, how many times this subject questions have been asked in the last 3 years. So I gave percentage to this, and I found that there are 3 categories of subject. First category of subject from which highest number of questions are asked, these are 4 subjects which have more than 7.5% of the total question pool. Okay, so out of that is medicine, surgery, OBG and PSM. Then we have subjects which have 3.5 to 7.5%, which are basically biochemistry, our second year subject, pediatrics, ophthalm and ENT. To be more specific, these are the clinical and preclinical subjects, paraclinical subjects. Okay, and rest of the subject are asked less than 3.5% of the total questions asked in NEET PG. Okay, so the prevalence is so less. Okay, so when you add up all these percentages, you will notice that only 11 subjects, okay, these 11 subjects, these 4 plus these 7 subjects constitute 80% of the total GT questions. Believe me, only 11 subjects. Actually, it should have been 50-50 ratio, but it is not. 11 subjects constitute 80% of the total questions asked in GT. So now the question is, are you focusing on these 11 subjects? Is it like you're doing the short subjects and you're giving GT and then you're like, my GT score is not improving, I don't know why. Okay, so reason number 1 why your GT score is not improving is you're focusing less on these 11 subjects. Okay, so when you start focusing on these 11 subjects, your definitely GT score has to improve. There is nothing like that. It is a law. Okay, take this as first law of RMD, that to increase your GT scores, you have to focus on these 11 subjects. Now, how do you know that your GT scores is improving? In other words, how will you measure GT progress? This is a very important question because there are various parameters to measure, but everyone goes wrong here. Okay, so what are the parameters that are available? For example, there is rank available, there is percentile available, there is total GT scores available, or the number of correct answers. So does rank give you an idea whether your GT rank is increasing or not? Let's see. First GT was attempted by 80,000 students, and in that you got a rank of 20,000. Second GT was attempted by 20,000 students, and in that you got a rank of 13,000 again. Okay, so which is better? In which exam do you have a better performance? So now you'll know that how rank decides. Okay, so rank is based on how many total number of people are giving the exam. So rank is never a criteria to decide whether your GT curve is going up or whether it is going down. Second, what about percentile? What does percentile tell you? Percentile tells you in relation to other 99 people, how much well have you performed. Okay, so that means percentile depends on how much others have performed. So that doesn't depend on how much you have performed. Okay, so it is very subjective. So percentile is also not good thing. Then third is your GT score. But let's see, does GT score really tell you whether you're going up or whether you're going down? See, let's take an example. Okay, in this GT you got 120 correct with 80 wrong, your score is 400. Got it? Next, in GT2 you have got 110 correct, you have got 40 wrong and 50 skipped, your score is 400. Now compare both these GTs and tell me in which GT you have performed better. If you ask me, you have performed better in this GT, that is because you are able to answer more number of questions correctly. Second, you don't have any skipped questions. If you ask me which is one of the worst prognostic marker in a GT, the answer is skipped questions. You shouldn't have skipped questions. Skipped question means you have portions left. Whenever you have portions left, that is very dangerous because you might have missed important questions in those chapters which you could have easily gained marks. So out of these two, even though the GT score is same, you have performed better in this. So total GT score is never an indicator of how your GT score is progressing. Okay, your GT curve doesn't reflect in your GT score. So what is the best parameter? See, in my YouTube live mentorship sessions, when I talk to people over Telegram or Instagram or over call, I always focus on this thing. Don't focus on your GT score, always focus on your GT correct responses. Correct responses is always the best parameter to assess. So now you will tell me, like in this GT I got 120 correct, in next GT I got 118 correct, in third GT I got 128. So it depends on difficulty level. So how do I know whether I am progressing or not? So the answer for this is with a variation of plus or minus 10, which means that if in this GT you have got 120 and in next GT or after 2-3 GTs you have got 132, that means your graph is going up. If you have got 120 and in after 3 GTs also your total score is still like 126, like within the 10 range, okay, plus or minus 10, then you are not improving. Your GT score is static. Okay, this is just a vague parameter. Okay, this is not like mentioned anywhere scientifically, but this is a vague parameter so that it will be easy for you to understand. So what is progress in GT? Okay, how can you define progress in GT? Progress in GT is increase in number of correct responses by more than 10. Okay, keep this in mind. Second, what is static in GT? When do you say that your GT scores are static? If your correct responses do not increase by more than 10 after 3 consecutive GTs. See, this is arbitrary and this is based on various sample size. Okay, so the thing is, after 3 GTs, like suppose you give one GT today, next GT may be difficult, you might have got a lower score, or next GT might be very easy, so you would have got a very good score. So after 3 consecutive GTs, your score is not increasing by more than 10, like even if it is decreasing also, and it is not increasing more by 10, then it is known as static, which means you have entered the plateau phase. You have entered the plateau phase of GT. So one important thing to note is your GT correct responses will depend on difficulty level of the exam. One. Second is on how much well you are preparing for that GT also. If your preparation is the same, like you are studying 10 hours earlier also, now also you are studying 10 hours, for next GT also you are studying 10 hours, but still it is not increasing by more than 10 in these 3 GTs, then that means you have entered the plateau phase. Got my point? Okay. So now the question is, you are studying during all this time you are studying, like even though you are in the plateau phase, you are still studying, then why doesn't your GT score improve? So for that we'll have to know what is a learning curve. Okay, so we'll see what is a learning curve. So basically there are 4 types of learning curve. Okay, first one is the learning curve of diminishing returns. What is the learning curve of diminishing return? Let's give an example. Okay, for example, during your internship you are asked to draw sample from the cubital vein. Okay, so initially it will take time for you to master this skill, but soon as that is done, you will reach a stage of perfection. Okay, there is nothing more than that. Okay, you will just draw blood, that is only there is a maximum level. Okay, so this is for some easy task. Okay, For that we'll say the learning curve is curve of diminishing returns. Second one is the curve of increasing returns, which means the best example for this is surgical skills. Okay, surgical skills, for example suturing. It will take a lot of time to master it, but once you have mastered, there is no end. Okay, you can be the best surgeon using that. Okay, the third is the yes curve. Okay, this is for when you start a new job. For example, when you start your internship, it takes a lot of time to reach some phase. Okay, but after 2 to 3 months, you'll notice that you are so strong, you can do things very quickly. Okay, and you'll find loopholes also. So that time your efficiency will increase, and then towards the end you'll see that efficiency will plateau off. Okay, so this is when you start a new job or something new, like whichever is going for a long time. Okay, it requires some skills and all. But the most toughest of this is the complex graph. The complex learning curve is meant for knowledge plus skills. Do you know something where knowledge and skills, MCQ skills is necessary? That is giving grand test. So how does a curve of a grand test look like? This is the curve of a grand test, and it is a complex curve. So what are the phases of this complex curve? There is a slow learning phase, then there is an increase in proficiency, then here comes the plateau phase, then comes peak proficiency phase, then the overlearning phase. So I'll tell you, whenever you give first JT, you are here, let's say at 90. Okay, maybe 90 correct answer, because with so many students whom I have talked to, they'll start at between 60 to 90. Okay, no one starts at 120, 130. Even I started at 98. Okay, so you will notice that when you give importance to even 2 or 3 subjects, your GT scores will start increasing to 100, then it will come to 120. But after 120, believe me, it is hell lot of difficult to pass on to 140. Okay, so this phase from 120 to 140 is where you plateau. So you don't find any increase in GT score during this phase. It may last for even 3 to 6 months. The main mistake what students do is, here they lose hope. They don't give more GTs here because they think that their GT scores are not improving. Okay, once you have mastered this plateau phase, after that in this peak proficiency phase, I'll tell you how to go to this peak proficiency phase. I'll tell you why you're not reaching there yet. Okay, so in this peak proficiency phase, after that you'll note that those who have crossed this 140 mark now, it is not difficult for them to reach 160. Once you cross this 140 to 150, you will easily reach above 160. Got my point? So this is the curve. First thing is, you should know that GT works like this. So first thing, don't ever believe that GT works like this. It is not like that. It is not a curve of increasing returns. Okay, GT is a curve, a complex curve, where you have this graph. Okay, we have increase phase, plateau phase, and then again an increasing phase. Okay, so the reason too why your GT scores are not improving is you are in this plateau phase. You are stuck in this plateau phase. So this can last very long. So what you shouldn't do in your plateau phase is, first, you shouldn't quit, because you are on the right track. You just need to be patient, and you shouldn't stop giving GTs. That is because I'll tell you, there is something known as atikiphobia. So what is atikiphobia? Atikiphobia means, in a series of events, you are having success. Okay, you have a streak of success, and suddenly you will feel that there is what if next one is a failure. Okay, you don't want to fail, which means your GT graph is going high. Okay, maybe you are at 60th percentile, 70th percentile, 75th percentile. Okay, for example. Okay, but now you don't want to drop it. You don't want to come again back to 60. So in that fear, you don't give GTs only. This is called as atikiphobia. Okay, this is the first mistake and the most common mistake which people make during their plateau phase. As soon as they see that their GT ranks are not improving as it was improving earlier, they stop giving GTs because they are afraid to see failure. Okay, so how to overcome this? First, you have to convince yourself that you are in this plateau phase. So let's say that you are already in your plateau phase. Okay, so how quickly can you get out of this plateau phase is that what extra can you do to increase your number of correct responses in every GT. So if you want to do something extra, then you have to revise some things which you are forgetting. Okay, the best thing for that is to revise Pearl's Treasure's 20th notebook just before GT. Now tell me, before GT, how many of you actually revise? How many of you actually go back to your 20th notebook or the mistakes that you make in GT and then give GT? I believe no one, because when I started doing this, my GT ranks actually improved. Okay, I could come out of this plateau phase. So reason 3 or you can state it as Dr. RMD's third law of increasing GT ranks is lack of revision of pearls or bookmarks or 20th notebook before giving a GT. Got my point? Clear till now? Okay. So now let's move on to the next phase. So when I talk to students, one very important question that I get is, sir, I have been reading revision videos. I have done all revision notes. I have read 4 or 5 times. I have done BTR 5-6 times, but still my GT rank is not improving above 120 or 130. How will it improve? Because you have read only that much which is needed to get you 120 to 130. See this graph. See, every coaching platform after NEET PG exams, they'll tell that more than 90% of the question, around on an average 90% of the questions have come either from main videos or the Q bank that they have with them. So if these are the questions that are asked in NEET PG, 90% are either from main videos or from Q bank. But what is the percentage from revision videos? It is approximately 50% only. So how can you expect your GT ranks to come above 120 when you have only read 50% of the question that will be asked in a GT? Right or not? So what can you do to score more marks in GT? To score more than 120 is you need more information. So you remember this curve, right? This curve will bring up to 120. Okay, for this you need PYQs here, you need BTR, revision videos, everything will bring you up to 120. And if you are intelligent enough, you can come up to 130. But above 130, you need something extra. So what is that extra? That extra is this extra information from main videos or notes. But now there is a problem. The problem is that you have limited time and there is so much content. You can't go through all the revision, all the main videos, and you can't go through all the Q bank. So what to do at this time and which subject to focus on? That is the main thing, because when you have time, when you have limited time, you have to focus on certain things that are important. And here comes one of our legend who actually helped me figure out this problem back in 2021 with this video which he released. This legend is none other than Dr. Milind Shinde. I should give him credits for whatever I could achieve so far. Okay, so when I was in November 2021, okay, when I was seriously starting to consider my GT scores, that time I noticed that my GT scores are not improving. Like initially it improved, but then I was in the plateau phase. So then this video was released. Okay, this video even today has got so much likes. Okay, if you have not watched, please go back and watch. It's a mind-changing video. Okay, it will totally change your perspective towards giving GT and towards NEET PG exams. So this legend, he predicted that there are 3 types of subjects which need to be concentrated on GT. And I repeat, my statistical analysis was done just 8 months ago in 2024. But this legend in 2021 itself predicted these 3 types of categories of subject, and which needs more importance and can give you high rank in GTs. And these 3 types of subjects are rank building subjects, rank maintaining subjects, and rank deciding subject. The basic idea was how much ever PYQs that are asked, they were grouped into 3 categories and based on weightage also, how much time is needed to cover these subjects. In other words, the total marks is to time, or the weightage ratio. Okay, so according to weightage ratio you will get this. Okay, so what is the summary of this? The summary of this is these 9 subjects, the rank building, they are the ones you need to concentrate first for this extra information. Suppose you have come to 120, it's fine, you are doing very good. Okay, if you want to come out of this 140, if you want to go above that, first you need to concentrate on these rank building subjects. Okay, these are the first year subjects, second year subjects, opthal, ENT and pediatrics. Now if you go back, you will see that these are the same subjects which had got 3.5 to 7.5% weightage, total weightage, in the first pie chart that I showed you. Second, this rank deciding subjects. Okay, so these 2 subjects, rank building and rank deciding, these are the short subjects. Okay, these 2 require highest importance in order to give you more rank in your GT. Now the next question is, it is difficult to track all these things. Okay, like how much you scored in which subject, how to give importance, how do you know exactly which subject you are lagging in. For that, what I did during my preparation was I went one step ahead with whatever Dr. Milind Shinde sir had given, that same analysis of these 3 subjects. Okay, I made a GT tracker. Okay, so what I did was I went one step ahead, and in Excel file, okay, in Excel sheet, in Google Sheets, I created one file. Okay, and in this I made conditional formatting, and this file you will be getting this in my Telegram channel. Okay, link for the Telegram channel is in my YouTube description. So what I did was I categorized this rank building subject first. Okay, and I gave 3 color codings, that is red, yellow and green. Red, if you're very bad at that subject, I kept a certain percentage, okay. Yellow, I kept a certain percentage, and green, which means if you get more than 75% in rank building subject, that means you are in the safe zone. If you get more than 65% in rank maintenance subject, that means you are in the safe zone. If you are getting more than 80%, which means if 5 questions are asked, you should be able to answer 4 questions correctly. That is because these short questions are the ones which decide your rank, okay. So if you get more than 80%, then that means you are in the safe zone. So how to calculate this 75, 65, 80 is how much ever number of correct responses that you have got divided by total number of questions that you have answered. Okay, so based on this, when you plot this, you will exactly note that which subject you are lagging behind. Whichever is in red zone for continuous 2 or 3 GTs, those are the subject which you should give more importance to. Got it? So what does this GT tracker do? It will tell you which subject needs more attention and which subjects you have attained mastery. So suppose your favorite subject is forensic, but if you're going on studying forensic, there is no use at all. No, you're always getting like more than 5 correct in forensic. That is more than enough. So the fourth reason, the fourth law of RMD as to why your GT score doesn't improve is you don't know which is your strong subject and weak subject, and you don't know where to focus more on information. This is the fourth reason why your scores don't improve. Now, one thing that you can do is you can use these GT trackers as a source of motivation. Like you can see my graph itself, okay. Like for example, this was what I used 2 years back. So you will notice that in my initial GT, in which I scored 98 correct, okay. So I was also not a topper or something when I started. So this was in November 2021 and this was somewhere in April 2022, so around 6 months. So here you'll note that I had got 98 correct, and in this NEET mock I had got, I think I had got a score of 585. So I got 155 correct, okay. So this was 155 in 6 months. So from here you'll note that this PSM consistently red. So I did some certain changes which brought me to 76%. I'm in the safer zone. See, what students make the mistake, you know, if they don't focus on GT tracking, what they'll do is they'll read PSM till they get 100%. So you will waste all of your time. Even if you get more than 65% correct in PSM, more than enough. Nothing to worry about, because you have to focus more on rank building and rank deciding. I think you got the idea. So I'm not dragging this video so much, okay. So this is my graph in GT, okay. I just put it as an example to show you that no one is perfect, okay. So when I started, my percentile was 68, then it went to 74 and then 89, okay. Within 3 GTs I reached 89, which means this was the initial steep, the initial slope, and then you will see it drop to 84, then it was 86. So this was a plateau phase. I was actually going down, but I knew that this plateau phase won't end more time, okay. I knew that I was doing right, I was solving all questions, and this was during the month of December when I was posted in PSM, so I had lot of time. So I was seeing that I was giving so much of effort, but my rank was not improving. But then I realized that I should be in plateau phase, because whatever I do should actually increase my score, okay. So what I noticed was after 1 month, okay, of consistent practice, then I reached 95, and then I maintained 95 for a long time, and last I reached 96. Okay, so this is the same graph that you saw, the initial steep phase, plateau phase, and the final steep phase. So for everyone this graph is the same. The problem is, for some people the graph will look like this, their plateau phase will be low and they'll easily gain success, and the second one will be people who are stuck in plateau phase for a long time, and the third graph will be something like initially you will have an increase phase, then you will have a dip for some time, it will plateau, then it will increase. Suppose at any point in this time you stop doing GTs, you are gone. Believe me, you will go on repeating this mistake again and again. You will be stuck in that cycle of ATK phobia. Okay, so now what are the so in the first part we discussed now what was the problem with studying for GT. Okay, so I told you what are all these problems that you can face if you don't prepare for GT properly. Now in the second phase we'll focus on what are the mistakes that you make when you attempt GT that will make your rank go down, or it will give you more wrong number of mistakes. Okay, so what are the mistakes that you shouldn't commit while giving GT? First is the most important, psychological problem. When anyone comes to me as a pediatrician, I'll note that in parents, 95% of the parents have psychological issues with their children. Children won't be having any problem. It will be just psychological issue of parents. Similarly, when students come to me asking for my guidance, then in 95% of the cases, what I always sense is psychological issues, the mindset of the students. So here I'll tell you what exactly will be the mindset of the students. Okay, so first thing is, you believe that your GT score is everything. You believe that your whole life depends on it. You think that your whole NEET PG is based only on GT scores. You think that always getting a good NEET PG rank is always a key to success. No. Take it from me, NEET PG rank is not success. Getting a good seat, your dream branch in a dream college is success. See, all these coaching platforms, what they have done is they have created a hype that you need a good rank to succeed. No, you need a good clinical seat, a good seat in a good college to qualify. Okay, you need a good college, you need a good environment to succeed. It is not a good rank. Second, you give GTs. What happens is whenever you are in this anxiety, what most of them do is they give GTs not to test themselves, they give GTs to know the final score. Like last time I got 500, so this time I should get 550. So they'll give with this anxiety and they won't be focusing on the questions, they'll be focusing on the final scores. So you are just throughout the GT, you just want to get to the end of the GT to see what your score is, and once you see the score at your end, then you are disappointed and then you don't want to review GT. Then you will go in that fear again that next my GT score won't be improved, and then you will anyways in the plateau phase, then you won't improve at all. Okay, third is you want your GT curve to go up only. Okay, this is one thing which I saw in few students. They believe that whatever you put your effort, that is proportional to whatever the GT score is. No, never. Whatever efforts you put, initially it is proportional, then it is inversely proportional, and later it becomes proportional again. Okay, so identify this curve first. Fourth point is you start comparing with your friend's GT score, which is a very big mistake. You should compare with your previous GT scores and not with other scores. And last one is you compare your current score with your past best performance. Like maybe one GT you got like 600 score, okay, and so you are like, after that I haven't got that much score in any GT. No, don't commit this mistake. Okay, so this is all called as performance anxiety or stage fear. Do you remember whenever you were in your school days? Okay, so during that time, if you were told to go to the stage and perform, like sing or maybe deliver a speech, so you will be having this stage fear. And do you know what is the stage fear of 21st century? The stage fear is performing well in GT. That fear will always be there in your mind regarding GT, and this GT will be your stage. So you have stage fear. So this is not only true for you, this is also true for me, because whenever I upload YouTube videos, always I'll be expecting that my graph goes like this, like the more number of videos I upload, the more number of views I get. But I realized that it is not so, because I know what my audience like and what my audience don't like. So I have corrected my own mistakes, and I know that my audience like good content only. So initially when my content was good, I was getting good views, then it reached a plateau phase, and now I realized unless I make a good content, I won't be getting more views. Okay, so the fifth reason why your GT marks don't improve is you don't give GTs regularly because of performance anxiety. Okay, so the golden rule is unless you give regular GTs, you won't perform well in exams. See, now I have told you everything. I don't think anyone has ever told you anything so clearly. Okay, I have told you what your fear is, I told you how to overcome this, and I have given you the solution also. Now there is nothing that stops you from giving GTs regularly. Got my point? So this is the root cause for many health issues. See, now there are various mental issues which especially droppers face, because once you have this fear of failing again, then it becomes very difficult for you to pick up. Okay, in this particular video which I uploaded 2 days ago, 7 reasons why 90% of NEET droppers fail repeatedly. Okay, so in that I have told detailedly what are the mental health issues faced by NEET aspirants. So you can go back to this video and you can see like what are the it may be helpful for you. Okay, I have given solutions also, so we'll not discuss psychological issue much here. I told you the main points. So why do you need to give GTs regularly is because regularly giving GTs has some advantages. Like one is you will get to know commonly asked questions. You can see this graph. Okay, every GT has some part of NEET PG. When you revise, it will be very easy to know like what to focus on. Okay, like last 14 days are available, you are given whole of subject. Okay, one subject in half day, you don't know how to focus, what to focus. Whenever you do regular GTs, you know exactly where to focus on. Next, time management. See, now is the time you have NEET PG in next 6 or 7 months maybe, we don't know. So try experimenting on this. Start with different aspects, like you can start with 150th question, or you can start with 50th question first. You can skip some questions in between, and then you can go and you can see how better you can manage time. Okay, so GT will give that practical experience for you. Next, start you will know what suits better for you. And third thing is, when you do regular GTs and you start bookmarking, you'll know exactly what will repeat again. So you can bookmark these pearls, or you can bookmark these questions, so that you can look at these questions just before giving GT. Got my point? So while attempting GT, we saw one was the psychological problem, okay, and the second is most important, the human errors, okay, the human mistakes that are preventable, that are made by students. Listen to this carefully. If you don't do all these mistakes, you will at least save 5 to 10 questions, okay, and even 5 questions means it is 5 into 4, that is 20 marks. You will get more 20 marks extra if you don't follow these mistakes, okay. One is not reading full question. Second, not reading all options. Third, fixating on only one question, which is tough question, for very long, okay. Fourth is not looking at the time that is left. Fifth is reviewing one-liners, like first you marked an answer for one-liner, and after that when you are reviewing again, coming back to that one-liner. See, one-liner you shouldn't review twice, okay. Whatever first comes to your mind, that is the answer. Next, not taking break in between, because you can't focus. Not a single human being can focus for 3 hours straight on something. That is very important. Next, no enough sleep. And last is not clicking on guess answer, because whenever you click on guess answer, that will actually tell you how much guess answer is correct and guess answer is wrong. And this is very important for reviewing GT, okay, reviewing GT. So how to review GT? Similar tips I'll be giving in my next video. So next video will be based on how to review GT properly, okay. So 95% of the problems that students face I have covered in this topic only, okay, in this video. If you don't get results after 3 months of following everything with proper preparation, then you tell me, you approach me on Telegram or on Telegram or Instagram, and I'll give you free consultation. That is my bet, because even after 3 months, if your GT ranks don't improve with all these solutions, that means that you seriously have some issue that needs to be addressed, okay. So you can contact me at my mail also if you have followed all this. I don't think anyone has followed all this, because this is not from my experience. This is from experience of more than thousands of students whom I've talked to so far in the last 3 years, okay. So next, 80% of the students score less in GTs because they make these mistakes which I have told already, okay. So if you follow my laws, RMD's laws of not how to improve your GT scores, then definitely you will see your GT scores will improve. There are only around 20% who actually need help. Such students can go to live mentorship session, where I'm available on YouTube live. I'll be having live YouTube sessions where you can talk directly to me. Link I'll put in the description of the video and also in the comment section. You can click on that and you can attend live sessions, okay. So I guess this clears almost everything, because I had all the questions listed down, all your queries, all the reasons why you're not able to perform well in GTs, and I framed this in a very comprehensive manner, okay. I have framed it in a very organized manner. I think you have liked this also. So also share this to your friends who you think are in dire need of this, okay. So for guidance at any point, don't hesitate to ask me. Thank you.